Today's block starts out with a pinwheel and turns into a star. Let me show you how. Hi, I'm Roberta from Quilt Crafters Corner. Today's block is called Starflower. It's from quilterscash.com and it's free for you to print and use. This was day 103 of my Quilt Block a Day challenge during lockdown. It has a lot of half square triangles in it that I show you how to make. So let's get started.
As you can see, it does look like a flower, and it is a star because of the points on it. So it's an rather easy block because you have the pinwheel in the center and then you just have half square triangles on the outside. Your outside corner blocks are 3.5-inch squares. They're just a simple 3.5-inch square. So those rather easy. You need 2 4x8 of each one of this one and of this one, because you're going to mix one of them with the background color, and the other one you're going to mix with this, and then this one with the background color. So you need one for here and then one for here. So it's 2 of each color. So here is my contrasting color with my background color. Now what I do is I mark the center of my rectangle, and it's at 4 inches because it's 4x8. So I'm marking the center, and then I make my lines in order to sew my scant 1/4-inch seam off the center line. Now I've used the air erase pen on this yesterday afternoon. As you can see, it's already disappearing. It's already pretty gone. Sometimes if you put the iron on it, the iron will bring it back, and you'll be able to see the lines. Let me see if it'll pick it up. It picked it up a little bit, but so anyways, that's these are all half square triangles. This will make 4 half square triangles. So let me cut it in half and then cut it apart. And I like doing it this way because even though you're sewing on the bias, it doesn't stretch, it doesn't move. It just makes it easier to sew them this way. So I've gone to doing it this way only for efficiency. And there's my half square triangles. Now let me cut this one. Okay, normally I take these over to the iron and I press them really good so that this lays flat, and then what I do is I'll square these up to 3.5 inches, because that's what this, with it being 4 across by 4 by 4, it's 3.5-inch squares. So here is, now I've made my center block with my 2 contrasting fabrics against each other. I've made it ahead of time just so that you can see what I do with the center seam. As you can see, the center seam, I nest my center seam, and then in order to spin my center seams, you just pop those little threads open just like that, because this seam here is going to stop it. And then what'll happen is when you take this to the ironing board, see how those seams spin? They're all spinning in a clockwise direction, and what you get is you get a much flatter point for your center of the pinwheel. There's not as much bulk back there, so it makes for a much flatter center, so that when you go to quilt it, that you don't have a lot of bulk material there. So one more time, I've made an extra one just so that you can see, and it's just a simple little twist, and the seams just pop apart. And of course this one's not going to do it as well, but they just kind of pop apart, and then that way it just makes the seam easier to spin. And it just spins, it just depends on which way you've sewn it, depending on which way it's, now see, this one's going counterclockwise. So it just depends on which way you sew these together. So that's how you do that, just to give yourself a easier, flatter center. It just makes the center lay so much flatter. So now it's just a matter of placing your half square triangles around your center. And normally what I do when I've made my, especially my pinwheel in the center, I will lay out my pattern, or my squares, lay them out in the pattern, and then what I will do is I will sew these two together and then sew them onto there, and do the same over here. So this one and this one together, and then sew them on, and then build these two as rows. It seems to go together for me much nicer and much neater. So I have found that when I do these pinwheel type of things, because I like to make sure my pinwheels all are going to meet in the center. So I will sew these two together and then sew that unit onto here, sew these two together and then sew that unit onto here. So that'll be all sewn together, and then sew these two strips and then sew them on. And that's all there really is to this block. It's just a matter of placing your half square triangles in the correct place, and it seems to go together rather nicely. So that's today's block. It's called Starflower. It's a lovely block, and this would look really nice set on point. You know, it would be really pretty set on point.
So that's today's block. It's called Starflower. I want to thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'd like to join a group of like-minded quilters, come join Quilter Swarm. It's a private Facebook group. Just answer the questions and you'll get in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.